everyone. Welcome to my series called Movie Reviews, where I review movies that I've watched during a particular year. This year, 2020, I decided to go back to some old favorites and also try to get myself into a little bit of a writing spree. The movie that I watched again, I haven't watched this movie in a long time, was Sky High. And the thing with Sky High is that I had actually first watched it when I was in high school, and seemed appropriate time. And it was okay. I watched it and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. There are some things in there that I don't particularly care for, just as a storyteller, but it was okay. I had a couple of feelings about it. I give it a 3 because the story is pretty good, but there are certain things in it that I just really just could not jive with. And the thing is that, okay, I'm just gonna go with my main issues with it. First off, one of the main characters that you deal with is Layla. She is the main character, Will's best friend. And in the story, Will is the son of 2 very prominent superheroes. And then in the world of Sky High, if you haven't seen it, superheroes are a pretty common thing. So common that they actually have a high school for superheroes. And there, Will kind of is hiding the fact that he so far has not gotten either one of his parents' powers. His father is the commander, who is super strong, and then his mother is Jetstream. She can fly super fast and is good at martial arts. But he has gotten nothing up until this point. And he's a freshman starting off at Sky High. His best friend Layla is, you find out that she's actually what's called a plantmancer. Basically, she can control earth and plant life. You don't see very much else other than her ability to control plants. So I don't know how far her abilities actually go. But my biggest problem with her is that her soapbox of she doesn't use her powers for... I'm trying to remember her reasoning. It's she basically didn't want to use it in frivolous nature, even though she's being told as a 14-year-old by her coach, in order to figure out her classes, she needs to show her abilities. And she refuses because she doesn't believe about labels or about using her powers. And I'm like, in any other circumstance in a school, you probably would be suspended for that. It would be kind of grounds for insubordination, as far as I'm aware. And it annoyed me because she never gave up this entire rhetoric throughout the entire movie. And even when it was down to the part where she's actually fighting for her life, she is trying to hold on to that pacifist nature until she gets punched. Then she becomes fucking Mother Nature. And I'm like, you were put in sidekick classes because the school is divided between heroes and sidekicks. Basically, sidekicks are people that don't have really an offensive ability. They're more kind of support, which is why they call them hero support. And then heroes are obviously ones with more either offensive or defensive abilities that can actually be used. And Layla gets automatically put into sidekick class because she refuses to show her powers. And I'm like, I understand wanting to fight for a cause. I get that. But this is about where you're going to be placed as far as your classes. And if you want to save the world requires those labels so that you can actually get the right training. Now, again, a 14-year-old... not thinking straight. So that's my whole issue. It's the other person that I really hated was actually the, spoiler warning, the antagonist. Gwen Grayson. And she is first introduced as this really pretty senior who basically Will gets a crush on right away. And I'm like, again. But it's kind of hilarious because the actress who plays Gwen Grayson is also Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim and also Huntress in Birds of Prey, which is kind of entertaining. But the reason I didn't like Gwen Grayson deals primarily with her plot twist. Because, again, spoiler warning, Gwen Grayson is not her actual name. Her real name is actually Sue Tinney, and she was actually a student of Sky High when Will's father was in school. And I don't know what their relationship was, but apparently she hated him enough that she decided to try to turn him into a baby and raise him as a villain. So she created a superhero name called Royal Pain and tried to pacify everyone with basically turn them into babies. And she actually succeeded because of Will's dumbass shit. The one kind of like good thing that came of it is the character Warren Peace. He's sort of an antagonist at the beginning because Warren's father is a villain and his mother is a hero. So he's kind of got that label of possibly becoming a villain. Will's father, the commander, actually put Warren's father into jail. So there's already some kind of animosity between them. Also, Warren is kind of a hothead. I mean, he's a pyromancer. It's kind of his thing. But it's because of Warren that Will is able to actually show his super strength. Because he threatens his friends, Will lifts him up on a table. So, yeah, that's good. The one problem that I have is that at the end of the movie, Will is kind of wrapping everything up. And he says this line that goes, so, in a nutshell, my girlfriend became my arch enemy became my best friend, and my best friend became my girlfriend. So, Layla and him end up dating, and Warren becomes his best friend. Mind you, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's cool. And I like Warren. I'm actually a hardcore Warren and Will shipper. I don't think Layla, like, even when I was younger, it's like, no, Layla and Will, no. But when I was watching this, and I'm like, when? When did Warren become your best friend? When? You had 2 big scenes together and 1 conversation at his job. That's it. There was no other time when you two were actually, like, talking. How the hell did you two become best friends? When you were closer to, like, Zach and Ethan, who are 2 of his friends at the beginning of the movie. Well, Zach is, Ethan becomes his friend really quickly. So it's like, when? When does this man become your best friend? There was so much that I was just, like, so confused by when it came to that particular line. That, and again, I don't like Layla and her plot line because the way that they framed it is that she'd been in love with Will for a long time, and Warren could see it. Basically, supposedly everyone else could see it. And I'm like, this is why, like, as much as I like the friends to lovers trope, it feels lazy sometimes. It feels sometimes like you automatically have to be with them because you've been friends for so long, kind of thing. And that's why it just, sometimes it feels lazy. It's like, okay, you've already done the hard work of them liking each other, so might as well just move it into them being in love with each other. And when it's done right, it's done really well. But it just feels lazy a lot of the time. But overall, again, I gave it 3 stars just because it's like nostalgia mostly. And Warren, he's probably one of the best things in there. But yeah, I mean, it's a kid's movie, so I can't get too mad about it. But anyway, so if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like down below, maybe subscribe so you can get more of these reviews, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.